There are some recruiters who do everything online.
Oh, I think we lost your audio.
Yeah, we lost a little bit.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah.
Hear you.
Sorry, my wife just called. She's probably loud. I just hung up on her, so I'm sure she's going to call back in a second.
Probably the single biggest change for our Air Force recruiters in our recruiting enterprise is that face-to-face recruiting that has been the bread and butter of how we go attract and inspire people to come into our ranks. We simply weren't able to do it.
How do you describe that feeling of what you're missing?
Oh, man. It's just a feeling of like this personal satisfaction, I guess. You know, looking someone over Zoom or on the camera, it's nothing like shaking hands and looking them in their eye, if that makes sense. So the way we do business is different. Now, do I miss that face-to-face interaction? Absolutely. However, you know, it's not like I have to kick that to the curb. I just add that to, you know, my list of things of how to recruit and what works. With the social media platform, you're able to reach more people and faster, you know, versus, you know, walking out in the mall and you know, bugging people, giving them my card, letting them know about the Air Force.
We started using virtual techniques to be able to connect with schools, connect to recruiters. Virtual online marketing. We had to shift a lot of the way that we went after recruits to be able to do that online.
We had programs like the DoD Safe program, so I can email the applicants different forms to sign, and they can email right back to me. You know, so I mean, it's super easy. They streamlined the process to where it's optional.
Our Air Force made a very key and strategic decision early on in COVID that we were not going to interrupt the training pipeline, that it was mission essential, and then we needed to keep people flowing through the pipeline.
Attention. Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I can't imagine that you'd want to go to boot camp right now.
I thought the same thing. But the way the kids look at it is, I've been cooped up in the house since last March. So if I can join the Air Force and it gives me an opportunity to leave the house and go to San Antonio for basic training, I'm all for it. So, you know, I thought the same thing, but realistically, I maybe had one or two applicants who had real concerns about the pandemic and stated that, listen, I'd rather pick up the process after everything clears up. Other than that, I've had hardly any concerns. Once I let them know, we have protocols set in place from our leadership, from basic training. You know, we wear masks. Most of them are not concerned at all whatsoever. So that's, you know, that's a good thing for us, is the business keeps flowing, you know.
We meet our goals every year. We've met our goals since 1999. But the challenge that we're going to have to continue to grapple with as we move forward, less and less people and American youth are interested in coming into the military today, primarily because they just don't know about the military. And then when you are able to target the population that might be interested, the number that's actually qualified to come in is considerably lower than it used to.
Even people with master's degrees and bachelor's degrees, I had failures on the ASVAB test. And I could not understand that at all whatsoever.
Just a couple of years ago, you could go to a job fair, an air show, a public event, and largely what you would find is very independent and separate recruiting entities representing the Air Force. You might have the Air Force Academy on one side of the auditorium or the airfield. You might have Air Force ROTC somewhere, the Reserve, the Guard, the Active Duty, the Air Force Civilian Service, all acting independently. And if you walked up to the wrong booth and said, hey, I want to join the Air Force and I want to do this, they very likely may have said, sorry, we can't help you. Now with Total Force Recruiting, the idea is, and we're making great progress, is that we're operating synergistically.
My job is to not just to recruit people in the Air Force, but, you know, honestly, just help them get a job somewhere to where they can help us, because you're still serving if you are, you know, a civilian working on base.
Your purpose on this planet may not be on this planet. And the whole focus of the Space Force recruiting campaign is to get people excited about this new service and how they can come in and serve in a different way than the United States Air Force, to be able to serve the nation and protect space capabilities for all. So our presence in the media, virtually, on social media, physical presence out in the communities is essential. The American people need to know us. They need to know our value proposition. They need to know what we represent, and they need to know that we will take care of them. We will protect their interests. We'll do it as good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. More importantly, good steward of their sons and daughters when they send them to us to be airmen.